brand new. We believe that this is their first race, so we are super excited to see what all these people can get done.
So for those not aware, this race is going to be using the Chozo preset. This is not the standard major-minor split that perhaps people are used to. So the major difference here is that instead of having all of the major items in one pool and all of the minor items in another pool, the pools are based off of which items are inside of Chozo balls, as well as a couple other things. Morph is always going to be at the default location, and the Chozo ball items include all of the major items, 3 of the energy tanks, 1 reserve tank, and then 2 missiles, 2 super packs, and 1 power bomb pack. And they're also in some slightly different locations as well, which we'll probably be talking about in more detail as we get into it. But here, all of our runners have started. See people making their way down the climb, getting through pit room, and eventually finding their first item, which is going to be Morph Ball.
So neither of the commentators have ever played or commentated Chozo Seed, so this is going to be a giant adventure for everyone involved.
Yep, that is correct. I have watched one Chozo Seed. I have never commentated one. I've never played one. So this will be exciting and new for everybody involved.
That is way more than we have done then.
And here we see on Kipp's screen, checking the item that is normally in the task tank location. That is just a missile, because that's not a Chozo ball.
We believe that the spreadsheet says that all majors are in the Chozo pool.
Yes. So that's referring to all of the major movement items, or the major progression items. So all the beams, all of the boots items, both suits, all of that. Also, we did find morph bombs at the Alpha Missiles location down there, as that is a Chozo ball, so it will have things like bombs in it. Which means, yes, thank you, Smokey, we are going to actually fight Bomb Torizo for the first time in what feels like a long time here on Randomizer, since most of the time you're not having bombs by that point, so you usually aren't fighting BT.
So the E tank in the ceiling, that is not a major? That is not in the Chozo pool?
That is correct, yeah. Energy tanks and reserve tanks are not counted as major items, basically.
Interesting. So this spreadsheet uses a very different definition of major item.
Yeah, there is a spreadsheet
historically randomizers have historically used.
Yeah. I personally like this definition of major item a little bit better, just because it makes a little bit more sense to me. In this case, it's basically referring to all of the items that you see on the tracker are the major items in this logic. But yeah, and it includes all of the locations that are the Chozo statues, the little bird-looking things holding orbs, as well as a couple other locations, like the wrecked ship right side supers location is in there, as well as like the Varia suit location and a couple others. Interestingly enough, the gravity suit location is not in there, which, if you ask me, maybe we can talk about this a little more, it makes the upper end of wrecked ship less worth it. And here we see Kipp in the upper left hand going to check the 230 missiles, which are, I think, supposed to be like your 3rd missile pack or so. And those are French vanilla 230 missiles.
So we have Elf doing the left side climb. This is a very, very beginner friendly climb, and it's and choosing beginner friendly strategies like that is a very, very practical decision. If you're first learning and you don't want to grind out the climb a lot, you'll probably have more luck going with the left side climb than you will with trying to wall jump climb. So that's we love it when runners are able to make very practical decisions like that.
When I was learning this game, I made the mistake of trying to learn the right side wall jump climb and spent many, many hours being sad and not being any good at doing it.
Elf does not have any missiles right now.
Who even needs missiles?
Elf declined those missiles. And now it's not going to be able to get into BT.
So they have supers.
Oh, those are supers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we thought that those were cheeseburgers.
No. It's a little hard to tell when there's only one thing on there.
It's difficult to tell because the Sprite is smushed and there's 4 on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was an energy tank at Bomb Torizo. And we have Smokey in the chat tracking the energy tanks and reserve tanks for us. Thank you very much. As the huge. So here, I'd be curious to see if anybody goes to Gauntlet, because they have bombs, and with one E-Tank, it's a little more survivable. Kipp not going to Gauntlet, and the Gauntlet E-Tank is in the Chozo pool. That is a Chozo statue. And it looks like Owl at least thinking about it. And it looks like Owl is going to be going to Gauntlet, which is exciting. Whereas Kipp and Link are heading off to the left, going down Terminator.
So how many items are in the Chozo pool?
In total, there's, I can count for you if you just give me a sec. 25, I do believe.
That's less, that has to be less than the other one.
Yes, so that is less than in Major Minor. And the easiest way to tell that it's less than is basically instead of 4 reserve tanks, there's only 1 reserve tank, and instead of 18 energy tanks, there's only 3, and you're only adding 5 items that are traditionally in the minor pool. That would be the 5 pieces of ammo that are in the Chozo pool here. So
Okay.
yeah, I in general would expect Chozo seeds to go a little faster. French Vanilla Brinstar Reserve as well. I would, in general, expect Chozo seeds to go a little bit faster just because there are fewer locations to check, but that's really hard to say because they're different locations that you need to check.
So for things to be in the Chozo pool, they don't have to be a Chozo orb, they just have to be a Chozo item, right?
Yes. So, for example, one of the super missile packs is the GT super missile pack, because before GT falls from the ceiling, it is holding on to the super missiles up there. And there's a couple of things that are strictly not Chozo items, but are still in the pool anyway, just for balance reasons and for making the seeds more interesting. Like the Various Suit location is in there, even though that's not a Chozo item, though it isn't a Chozo ball. The Gravity Suit item is not in there, but the right side supers on the wrecked ship are. And there's, I think, 1 or 2 other little things like that.
And right supers was an important balance change in the original randomizer, because otherwise the wreck ship would not be worth it at all. The wreck ship is still less worth it still less worth it than going down the red tower, but it makes it more balanced to have the 4th major there.
Yeah. And also, talking about how, like, what items are available in Chozo, there's only 3 wrecked ship locations that are in Chozo. There's the right side supers, the wrecked ship energy tank, and then there's that set of missiles by the wrecked ship reserve sort of behind gravity. And for that reason, I would expect it to be much more common to see people skip checking the top of wrecked ship, because you're only missing out on 1 major, whereas in Major Minor, you're missing out on 2. Here we do have a plasma beam at charge for Kipp. I didn't see what was in Gauntlet, but it doesn't appear to have been anything of great interest. Both Link and Owl going through.
And
there.
Kipp is going for Spospo supers, which
Yes.
is a Chozo item.
Yep, absolutely.
So one of the interesting things here is that this looks like there's way more Chozo items early on.
Yeah, so looking at the distribution, there are a lot of Chozo items in Brinstar. There's 3 in Criteria. Those are Bombs, Gauntlet, E-Tank, and 230, which it looks like Owl and Link have now checked all 3 of those. There's a whole bunch of them in Brinstar, like 9. 3 in Wrecked Ship. Another 7 or something in Norfair, most of those being Upper Norfair. And then only 3 in Meridia. So it's very Norfair and Brinstar heavy.
There's only 3 in Meridia, and Norfair only has 7 compared to 10 in the old logic.
Yeah.
So this is very not Norfair heavy at all.
I would say it's heavier Norfair than some of the other areas, because like Meridia only has 3, and it's Space Jump, Plasma, and Spring Ball. Plasma and Spring Ball often being not checked even in Major Minor. But yeah, there's definitely fewer Norfair locations in Chozo than there are in Standard Major Minor. And in particular, one thing I was thinking about earlier is that Croc becomes a lot less worth it in Chozo because there's only 1 Chozo location after Croc, and it's Grapple Beam. Everything else is not. It is worth mentioning you can find energy tanks and reserve tanks in the non-Chozo locations, but typically runners are going to be looking for those key progression items.
especially Kipp and Owl, who are very seasoned runners, are just going to be getting the very bare minimum that they need to to do anything, and then just running with that.
Absolutely. And a charge beam at the Cephi beam location.
So it looks like Owl is the only one with power bombs so far.
Yeah, I assume... Where were those then? Were they under the Crumble Bridge? It's kind of hard to talk about Chozo as a whole, also paying attention to 4 people's screens.
We're all trying to figure out the logic ourselves.
Yep.
Are there any Chozo...
Back of Gauntlet. Thank you, Smoke.
Back of Gauntlet?
Yeah, Back of Gauntlet.
Ooh, that'll be fascinating if that's the only one.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. Oh, there is a power bomb down by Edacoon's, but that's power bomb locked.
Not quite.
Okay, fine. Technically not power bomb locked. But I would say, for all intents and purposes, power bomb locked.
Kipp and Owl are probably perfectly capable of Moondance.
That is true, but it takes a very long time, so I'd be surprised to see anybody doing it in a race setting.
So, in the Edacoon pit, there are no majors down there, are there?
Yeah, that's correct. There's no Chozo locations down in Edacoon's. So
Kipp with a beautiful, beautiful quick kill.
Very, very nice. I would expect that part of the reason that Owl just went down there was just muscle memory. Because, like, in Major or Minor, it's like, oh, I have power bombs. I should go check down what's at Edacoon's. Right? And it's like, oh, right, it's just power bombs this time. Meanwhile,
Link
has blasted right onto Kraid, while most of our other runners are cleaning up Big Pink. Elf being on their way to Kraid right now. Elf, keep in mind, did not go to Gauntlet.
All of these runners getting to Supposed Boat without any issues.
Yep. Very nice. Picking up their Plasma Beam reward. Here's Plasma, right? Yeah. Oh no, never mind. Supposed Boat Supers was just vanilla. Plasma was at charge, yeah. So we see Kipp now taking their first dive down into Norfair. Still no suits on any screen, for the record. This is still very much anyone's race.
So, Kipp has all he needs to be able to do an Ice Hell run. And it looks like Kipp very well might be saving and then doing that.
Yeah, I would definitely not be surprised to see that.
Especially with the extra reserve. Kipp is by far the most mechanically strong player of these 4, and is also the most experienced RBO runner, so...
Yeah,
Kipp
I would probably be a little surprised if Kipp didn't do the Ice Hell run, honestly. Especially, with the extra energy tank there.
And Kipp has more than enough to get through the Bubble Run and Hell Run, too, at this point.
Yeah.
Was Charge at Spacer?
Yes, Charge was at Spacer Beam.
Okay.
Location.
So, and with Charge Plasma, that is 2 or 3 components of the Microwave Beam.
Yeah. I always love NEC where I can get the Microwave Beam off, because I don't like having to actually fight Dragon or the Snek. Here we see Elf just obliterating Kraid's faceplate with super missiles, eventually taking him down.
And Elf is a newer runner. Oh.
Yes. Owl is going up Red Tower along with Link. I just wanted to mention that.
Elf is a newer runner, does not have all the damage values memorized, but super missiles, but charged plasma shots actually do 1.5 times the damage of supers against Kraid.
Yes.
So that is something that will just come with experience and memorizing the damage tables.
Yep. Also, interestingly enough, because both Owl and Link just immediately went up the Red Tower, now they're going to have charge. And being able to charge Plasma Fantoon on each round, I don't think that triggers the Enrage. I'm almost certain it doesn't.
It does not trigger the Enrage, only a super will trigger the Enrage.
Yeah, so that could potentially make their Fantoon fights a little bit slower. Over at Ice Beam, it looked like there was nothing of...
Oh!
components.
X-ray.
Ooh. So we now know where all of the components of the microwave beam are. And keep in mind, Owl and Link are going to be getting to this item not having charge yet. So Owl, please don't skip it. I would not be surprised if Owl skipped this, but I would be sad. All right, Owl picks it up. Thank goodness. Looks like it was another E-tank at Ice Beam.
So the charged beam, charge plasma makes a very good finisher in combination with 4 missiles to open per Fantoon round. It gives you a very, very easy 3 round.
Yeah, it's a very, very easy 3 round.
Kipp doing the Cathedral Hell run.
Yep, seeing what's at Bubble Mountain has plenty of health.
Kipp is just skipping the Cathedral missile item.
Yeah, I mean it's probably ammo
Kipp needs
or
power
a
bombs.
tank. That is true. He does. He does need power bombs. No, Link's not soft locked. He's fine.
No,
yeah,
Link's
he doesn't
not
have
soft
power
locked up.
bombs, so he can't get into wrecked ship yet. But he can go back out to Gauntlets, I imagine, and get his peeps there. Whereas Owl is just going straight in. Elf cleaning up high jump area, while Kipp seems to be just going straight to, gets bodied by King Cack. But Kipp seems to be going straight to Speed Booster. Owl going for the CWJ.
Owl leveling up his diving skills.
Almost gets the diagonal bomb jump.
The diagonal bomb jump is very, very tricky. The CWJ is only 2 inputs, whereas the bomb jump is about 7 inputs.
I can do the CWJ on occasion. I cannot even come close to diagonal bomb jumping. It looks a lot harder than it is. Here we see Elf doing the Ice Beam Hell Run.
Owl successfully gets across. The trick to the diagonal bomb jump is that you have to be in morph ball facing right by the time your second bomb goes off.
Yeah.
As soon as that was explained to us, we got it for the only time we've ever gotten it. A couple minutes later. So Elf doing very well with their hell runs.
Yeah, very clean. No deaths, at least that I've seen. Here we see Link, without any power bombs, is going back through Brinstar, I guess hoping to pick some of those up.
Anytime you have a newer runner doing hell runs, it's always interesting to see just how well they will do, because that is one of the things which can really show off skill differences.
Yeah. I remember when I was still kind of new, I was learning Croc RTA, so I of course just looked up the world record route, which is, a smoky beam at the Speed Booster location. I looked up the world record route for Croc RTA, which does it suitless and just hell runs through all of Cathedral, and I was like, how hard could that be? And then I learned very quickly the answer is very hard. Hell runs are not easy.
And the world record route for Croc RTA involves not picking up high jump, getting a very, very solid bomb jump off.
Plus,
getting RNG to get a big health. Because without a big health drop, you're just dead.
Yep.
So, Croc RTA world record route, all of Behemoth's world record routes for the mini boss RTAs are amazing. Especially Croc and Botbone.
Yeah. Here, Owl is starting the Fantoon fight. More health than you would see in a new route any % run, but still not a ton. Although I'm sure Owl will be just alright. Meanwhile, Kipp seems to have finished up has escaped with his wave beam. Elf is going up Red Tower.
And Elf is killing these with supers, which is a very, very, very good practical decision for a newer runner.
I still do that sometimes.
And killing them with supers or a power bomb is something we would definitely recommend to anybody who's just trying to learn this area.
Yeah. And Kipp finally gets his first power bombs in double chamber. I think that's only the 3rd power bomb. Oh wait, no, that's the 2nd power bombs. Yeah, this has been a pretty power bomb light scene.
There's Varia
suit. Ooh, so hell running definitely paying off here. And with only a few chozo locations here in Wrecked Ship, we'll have to see how well this goes for Owl here.
Yeah, we're surprised that anybody is going up with this distribution.
Yeah.
Because going up was always an interesting decision, even when there were 4 majors in the Wrecked Ship.
Yeah. Now it does have the advantage of being of often having a little bit less backtracking, but you can often also waste time trying to find all this stuff in the wrecked ship when these are pretty long checks and there's usually not that much here. But we'll see if this play for wrecked ship does pay off for Owl. Checking the right side supers item.
We would say that going to wrecked ship first guarantees that you'll have more backtracking, because KRDP is the way that you want to go.
That is true. Yeah, that is very true. And Owl validates the run, picking up Spring Ball, the best item in the game.
So one thing that we're noticing that Elf is not doing is ledge grabbing. Whenever you jump over a ledge, you want to hit L or R, and that will break you out of spin and expand your hitbox, which will just snap you to the ledge. And that is something which just becomes very strongly muscle memory.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
And essentially, every frame that you're jumping higher than the platform you need to land on is frames that you're wasting just waiting for Samus to fall back down. It's just one of those tiny movement things that's so easy to not notice if you're not tuned into it. And then, like, you start noticing it, and it's all of a sudden, like, you look back at your old runs, and it's like, oh god, I'm bleeding seconds everywhere just trying to jump on platforms. And it is a very, just a tricky little thing, and it just shows, like, how much random little movement stuff there is in this game, and, like, how much time can just be saved from just regular old movement ability. And for anybody looking to see some of this or in action, a friend of mine, Kamaru, put together a hack of the Super Metroid practice hack that just shows your hitboxes. So you can see what your hitboxes look like. And you can see, quite literally, watching your hitbox grow, like, 4 or 5 pixels downwards when you break out of spin. And thanks to some sprite work by, oh god, I can't remember who now. Also, that was a speed booster over here at the wrecked ship E-Tank. So we do see Owl is going to be trying to go for that. And does get this jump second try.
Elf is heading towards Gauntlet and going to find their power bombs.
After a very clean bomb jump, I might add.
Yeah, that is really impressive, especially after our performance yesterday with bomb jumping.
And Kipp finds just power bombs at the chozo location with a grapple beam. So, we have Kipp having killed Croc and is currently the only racer with Varia, clearing out Upper Norfair. We have Elf, it appears to be clearing out Brinstar, looking for power bombs to get into maybe the wrecked ship. Link is entering Norfair and probably going to be doing some similar hell runs, and Owl is currently clearing out the wrecked ship, being the only player that's killed Fantoon thus far.
And it looks like Owl did get Speed Booster in the wrecked ship.
Yes. No high jump boots, though, so Samus is going to have rocks in her shoes for a little while. For those who don't know, Speed Booster is a very fun and interesting item, and because of some quirks of how it is programmed, if you have Speed Booster but you don't have high jump boots, your jumps are actually lower than they would be with just having neither of those items. So it's not uncommon in randomizers where you will be collecting Speed Booster but you won't have high jump boots yet, and it's not something you always notice, but like you feel it when you're playing. Just how heavy Samus feels. It's like you're playing Redesign or something.
More specifically, the way that Speed Booster works is it adds some fraction of your horizontal movement speed to your initial jump height. Only that was incredibly poorly programmed.
Yeah, involving there's a couple things at play involving rounding down and also throwing out the carry bit with one of the operations, which results in some really interesting looking graphs of like jump height versus speed. And
after reading
Gauntlet.
After reading the code, our reaction to the Speed Booster jump height was, this is amazing that this works as well as it does.
Yeah. And also it looks like Kipp is going to be going for a high jumpless lava dive. That's not something you see every day. And does get the mock ball in, which is very good.
Because this was a randomizer, very ooh, good setup, good setup.
Very nice.
First
Ooh.
try.
Very,
This
very
is why
nice.
This is why Kipp is so much better than everybody else here. Like, Owl is a really good player, but Kipp is just worlds ahead of. Kipp is worlds ahead of basically almost everybody.
Yeah, Kipp is a very, very strong player, and definitely showing it off there. A lot of people wouldn't even go for the high jumpless lava dive, but that is the most efficient routing. And oh my goodness, we have a gravity suit leaving the wrecked ship, and that is in a location that I think I would describe as most skippable, because you have to clear out all of Attic in order to get to it, and it's only the one item. So
Two
I would
items. Gravity should be another one.
No, the gravity location is not in the pool. Gravity, the item, is in the pool. Gravity, the location, is not in the pool. It's a little confusing. I was asking this question earlier of
Interesting.
TOs. Yeah. So for all intents and purposes, you can kind of consider gravity and the chozo ball right behind gravity to be kind of swapped.
And we're gonna see some bomb jumping action from Kipp here.
Yeah, getting out of GT.
Kipp has a full beam combo now, and
yeah, that was an ice beam at GT. Very convenient. Extra damage on Ridley, speeds up the Metroids and Turian.
so unfortunately, Elf did not go back through Gauntlet, and now does not have power bombs. Link doesn't have power bombs either.
Yeah. Our bottom two players, neither of them have found power bombs yet, which I think is part of why they're a little behind here, having to go through trying to find their first power bomb pack. There were a couple in Norfair that Kipp got from the Hell runs, but yeah, past that, I think the only other ones we've seen was Gauntlet Escape and the Edikun E-Tank was power bombs. Unless I missed something, which I very much.
Looks like Kipp has 15, so there's one more, but that was definitely later.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember Kipp had 10, I think.
Why isn't gravity a major? Because the logic for this is that they group chozo statues into one pool.
Yeah, but I was hearing Tracy talking about it a little while ago. The idea is essentially it's all of the chozo statues and then like the boss reward items are all together. So like Ridley's E-Tank is in the pool as well. Because it's considered like a boss reward item.
Kipp going with the static strat.
Beautiful.
Unequipped to all the other beams for that too.
We were kind of talking about something else when that was happening, but I don't know if anybody caught that, but that was freezing a pirate with just ice charge underneath you, so that way you can get their worst room in the game without high jump boots. Very, very nice. The other option there would have been bomb jumping or the frame perfect wall jump.
Those pirates have 900 HP. Need to do the last bit of damage with the charged ice shot, which does 90. So you're gonna have to hit it with the power bomb, twice with the power bomb for 400, and then a super and two missiles, a super and a missile for another 400, and 2 charged ice shots, and that will take you all the way to 900.
Yeah.
And
Kipp absolutely showing off this race with all the things that he's capable of doing. Here we have Owl going to clear out Kraid, and I would imagine probably going to be doing his hell runs first, unless he gets baited by the gravity suit and goes into Meridia, which I think will be a really interesting choice to see which direction he goes there. Meanwhile, Link is also starting hell runs, as is Elf, I think.
That will be really interesting, especially because all of the Meridia locations are just terrible.
Yep. There's not that many of them, and they're all like Space Jump is fine. Right, that's the only one.
No, Space Jump is pretty terrible.
That's true. It takes a lot of time to check that Space Jump after killing Dragon. But yeah, like Plasma takes a while, Shack Tool takes a while, and then it's just those two in Space Jump. That's it in Meridia, which is nice because at least you're not wasting time going through sand pits or checking things like Mama Turtle. But yeah, if you do decide to like bet on finding something in Meridia, you can spend a lot of time looking for that stuff.
So Link successfully gets to Bubble Mountain, which means that Link is going to very soon get his double chamber power bombs.
Yes, although I think there was another power bomb pack before that, because I saw that Kipp had 10 at double chamber. So there's one before that I missed. That I think was also
might have been at speed.
I think it might have been at speed. Maybe someone in chat knows. Like, carefully considering jumping over the spikes for the supers and says, you know what, let's just be a little careful. I don't know if those are hard
Oh
spikes.
no, Link is going down.
Ooh.
Oh wait, we wonder if Link is going down just for the farm.
Yeah, it might be for the farm. I would not be surprised if it was for
Like,
the
that
farm.
would be a very practical decision to go down.
Yeah.
But Link is also not saved, so...
Yeah. But we'll see. Meanwhile, Ridley
Oh,
is
Link
down.
is just farming those Novas.
I've seen people do that. Yeah, I've seen people do that. Ridley is down for Kipp, and he is rewarded with Space Jump.
Elf didn't save before the Hell Run.
Oh, gosh. No, so their last save was at Gauntlet then. It would have been.
And Elf is gonna find out that these are power bomb blocks.
Yep. This is something of a mean seed for beginners, I do have to say. Well, with power bombs being quite rare, and also forcing hell runs up to double chamber to get Varia.
So Owl has headed to Norfair rather than going to Meridia.
Yes, which is fortunate for him. Because Meridia, I don't think is going to have, based on what we know as the commentators, I don't think Meridia can have any required progression items now. Because I think we've seen most of that.
No,
it could have high jump boots for Worst Room, but you can spring ball jump through Worst Room.
You can bomb jump Worst Room.
Yeah, you can bomb jump Worst Room too, so.
Can fly equals true.
Yeah, so the logic can require hell runs with... It's a little bit interesting. There needs to be at least 3 energy tanks in chozo locations before the hell run. And then, quote, enough energy tanks elsewhere. So, interpret that as you will, but that's what I'm reading. Ooh! Very nice little spring ball there out of Owl, going into Ice Beam. You're rewarded with some more energy.
And Kipp needing to shoot that Key Hunter 6 times to kill it.
Yeah.
These things have an absurd amount of HP. They can each absorb 6 supers.
Yeah. But Kipp does make it past the... it's not the 3 Musketeers. Which one are those? Is that the 3 Amigos? I want to say. Is that better set of Key Hunters?
We've never heard a name for the Key Hunters.
I've heard that name. I've heard a name for those Key Hunters at least a few times. Amigos. Thank you, Smokey.
The 3 RNGs?
The 3 Run Killers? The 3 miniature Ridleys? The 3 Ridley Amiibos?
Everything that we know is that the Key Hunter stairs room is much harder to RNG manip than the other run. Than the 3 Musketeers. Keep going for the very practical decision to kill the 3 Musketeers.
Yeah, and with the full beam combo, it doesn't take too long. And yeah, with only Varia, those things do 100 damage on a smack, so no reason to be going crazy risky for that.
Kipp is one of those players.
Kipp
is one of those players who always plays to win.
Mm-hmm.
Kipp does not take unnecessary risks. Kipp knows exactly what he needs to do to win, and he plays to win. He will take safety saves. He will do anything. Take safety anything that he needs to. Kipp plays to win.
Yep. And a lot of the time he does. Also, I did want to point out Owl being able to skip the Cathedral Hell Run by just speed boostering past everything.
Owl gonna not quite get his variant yet.
Soon.
We're curious what Elf is doing. Elf started at the ship and is now going up the Red Tower again.
I think they might just be trying to find anything that they may have missed already. And especially if you're kind of new and not necessarily certain of like, oh, was there maybe like one random little location I didn't know about already? It's totally reasonable to be wanting to go back over things for that. Because normally you're not having to scrutinize every single location to find your first, power bomb pack or super missile pack or what have you.
Oh, and there is one new location. Oh, never mind.
Nope. Not quite. Hopefully they make another play for Gauntlet and find their stuff soon. More cheeseburger blocks. Owl does pick up, and the power bomb pack was in fact at Speed Booster location. Owl does pick it up. I am I winning? I'm not sure. And it's kind of hard to say exactly who's winning. I would put Kipp in a pretty comfortable lead right now, but I'm not. It's definitely not impossible for Owl to take this at this point. Link and Elf are a little further behind.
As long as Kipp doesn't die, Kipp already has won this.
Yeah, it's not impossible for Owl to pull this back, but yeah, it's going to be pretty hard. Just because going in and killing Ridley and getting back out does take a while, and it certainly takes a lot longer than Wrecked Ship. What could do it is if Kipp decides to skip the top half of Wrecked Ship, which I don't think is likely, knowing what we know about him, but it could happen. There is a universe in which this gets a lot closer. Ooh,
oh, there's high jump boots.
Kicking PF flyers at the X-ray location.
Do you remember where Spring Ball was?
Yeah,
that's a right supers, right?
Yeah, right side supers.
Okay, then yeah, Kipp is probably gonna get Spring Ball and then bail.
Yeah. Yeah, and try to do well. He doesn't.
Oh,
have,
no grapple.
Grapple. Yeah. We're trying to think about what is required. What do you need to do Suitless Meridia? Which, for the record, Suitless Meridia cannot be logically required. It's not logically required in this setting. It can't be logically required in the second round of the actual Randomizer League, which several of these players are a part of. But for the Grand Finals, which will be Chozo in Randomizer League, it can be required.
Wait, you're saying that no Suitless Meridia can be required in the Rando League?
Not for Chozo. For Major Minor it can, but not for Chozo. Because the
not
only...
even partial Suitless?
Nope, because the first... That would basically mean like having to find gravity at Dragon. And that's a risk that they didn't want to force. Because Botwoon and Mama Turtle Tank are not Chozo locations. So it basically means...
Sense.
Yeah, diving Suitless into Meridia in Chozo basically means like you are committing to either finding gravity at Dragon or doing it without gravity. Which makes it a lot riskier.
Kipp trolling himself here.
Yeah, by destroying the platform on the left.
Yep.
But does eventually make it up the red tower.
Owl going for Lava Spark.
Ooh. Gets the short charge. And gets the spark. First try. Very nice. Yeah. Wow, this is a really mean seed. Because I'm pretty sure for lava dives to be required, you have to get... Wait.
Owl can just G-jump it as is.
Yeah, that is... Okay, yes, you can just G-jump it. Right, okay. That makes much more sense. Because I was like, you can't require a lava spark or a high jump list lava dive, and I forgot that gravity jumps are just a thing that you can do.
And Owl has bombs, so it could just get to speed. You could get high jump at X-ray.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of weird requirements for that. But yeah, he could get Varia. Because you need, in order to do like the bomb jump in order for the bomb jump to X-ray to be in logic, you need to have Varia.
Owl has Varia.
That he does. Owl going to be checking GT item. I do believe he saved at the top of Lower North Fair, at the Lower North Fair element.
And if not, we'll get to see a beautiful spring ball jump.
Yes.
And he's gonna keep this item. Oh,
yeah.
That moonfall, that was beautiful.
Yeah, very, very nice. Here we see Link did find their first power bomb pack over at Speed Booster, as well as picking up the Smoky Beam, and is now heading into Double Chamber.
Moonfall is a secret tech that will let Owl beat Kipp.
Oh, and it looks like Elf has actually forfeited from the race, having some trouble finding power bombs, which is totally a reasonable thing to do. Absolutely no shame in doing that, if you ask me. And you know, it is kind of unfortunate to see, but that's just kind of how it is sometimes. I for one, I've definitely forfeited a couple races where either it's just super not clear for me how to progress, or I just like am broken and I don't want to finish the seed, like last night. And I really do mean, like, there's no shame in doing that, if you ask me. None at all. Because, like, ultimately, like, doing these is about having fun. And if you're not having fun, then there's no point in continuing to do it, and that's okay.
Doubly so when you're not in a tournament where forfeiting gives you a significantly lower chance of progressing.
Exactly. And like these open matches every week Like, you don't need to be part of the Rando League to participate. You don't need to be part of anything, really, to participate. All you need is to make an SRL account and own the game, I guess. And then you two can mess around in chozo seeds. There's spreadsheets online as well to help out with the logic, and all sorts of good resources, and lots of people that are willing to help, people in chat. So it is fun, and it's always good to see new people participating. It always is nice, even if it can be a little bit brutal. This was a particularly nasty seed, if you ask me, with all the various things that were required for logical access to various parts.
Yeah, this was not a gentle seed. We think that any seed where you're going on an ammo hunt is not gentle.
Yeah.
Especially with the tricks required to be able to access power bombs.
Yeah, and like required hell running all the way up to wave beam to get various suit was not particularly nice either. And lower Norfair access being gated by, I think logically would be a G jump or power, like bomb jumping to X-ray to get what's it called? The thing. High jump boots for the high jump lava dive. Although I guess you could also bomb jump with gravity suit as well in there. I think that works.
Gravity jumps are pretty straightforward. We think that was one of the more gentle tricks required for the seed.
Yeah, they're not hard to. It's one of the. There's a lot of tricks in Super Metroid that kind of fall into the category of like finicky, but not hard. Like you kind of need to know how to do it, but it isn't particularly difficult to do. And like I would class gravity jumps in there. Like the timing is a little tricky, having to jump right before the pause menu finishes fading out. But if you can get that timing down, it's really not too bad. And it does, and Kipp does in fact get his speed booster at the wreck chip energy tank location, conveniently being able to not have to ice clip through the Botwoon hallway.
So Elf did forfeit with a message, not sure how to progress, and so we told Elf where the progression was. It looks like Elf is going to go and continue to fight this, which is really, really impressive. It always The best way to get better is to finish seeds. It doesn't matter if it takes you 5 hours to finish the seed. Just finish it, and you'll get better, because you'll learn more along the way.
Well, that's how you learned to play, wasn't it? Just playing randos?
Yeah, we remember like one of our first random races was just a random race with Total and Punk, and Total and Punk were halfway through their second seed by the time we finished our first one, but we finished it.
Yep.
And that's important. So like, huge props to Elf for continuing to go. You like even with the hint needed, Elf is just continuing with this, and
yeah,
which is amazing.
And like, I know I for one was way too much of a coward to join any tournament until I felt like I was quote unquote good enough. And I regret this. I regret that to this very day. I wish I had gotten more involved earlier on. There's a lot of ways in which like being more involved in the community makes it easier to learn, and also it's just fun. And like, there's nothing wrong with being a beginner with seeds. And yeah, like, so the seed takes you 5 hours, whatever, right? Like, there's a ton to learn, and this game's amazing. Like, I could say that I think pretty much everybody here really loves this game. So.
Yep, there's definitely a huge amount to be said for just joining tournaments and playing seeds. For example, we have not played a chozo seed yet, and we're pretty sure that our first chozo seed ever is going to be in the Rando League tournament, in the Rando League. Yeah, that's going to be so much fun.
Yep, it's going to be great.
So the back half of Gauntlet is significantly harder than the front half, especially So Elf is morphing before letting go of jump, and that means that Elf is going to hit max jump height every time, and that is going to ram Elf into the spikes again and again.
Oof.
So if you morph while still having jump held, you will always get max jump height. So you have to let go of jump before you morph. Tricky. Can Elf do it?
I believe. I have faith.
Oh no!
Nope, that's a death. And here we see Link bomb jumping out of Ranomizer, having gotten their various suit. I imagine we'll probably. Where do you go as Link at this point? Right, so clearly not wanting to enter Lower Norfair right away.
As Link, you go to the wreck ship. That's the only place to go.
Well, I'm thinking, like, what options do you have to enter the wrecked ship, right? I don't know how comfortable Link is with the CWJ, right? Or the diagonal bomb jump.
CWJ is one of those things. CWJ is only 2 inputs, and everybody knows exactly what those 2 inputs are. Even
That
if
is
you're really
true.
bad at them, everybody knows exactly has a knowledge of how to do those 2 inputs.
Yeah.
You jump on the last frame, and then you jump again when you have the wall jump animation. So we think that CWJ is something that anybody could do.
With some practice, yeah. Although the timing is very precise.
Yeah,
And I would say
we
that,
don't.
like, not necessarily knowing the visual cue, like, if you don't know the visual cue to line up in the door, it can be a lot harder.
Yeah, but CWJ is something that somebody who's playing the first game for the first time could do if you give them a couple hours to get it.
Yeah, that is very true. Couple hours only.
So yeah, we think that CWJ is entirely reasonable for a did it once trick.
Yeah.
Now trying to do that in a race setting where you're under a ton of time pressure, that's completely different.
That's harder.
But just doing it once is entirely reasonable in a seed.
Yeah, and I know
And
that in the major minor logic, CWJ can be required for logical progression. I don't know if that's for chozo, but I would assume it is.
In the original total randomizer, even in casual logic, CWJ could be required, which in our mind is a big oversight of that.
Yeah.
Of the logic.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like it in casual logic, because...
Yeah, we consider that to just be an oversight, because, we imagined the entire casual difficulty was just chucked in there at the end.
Yeah. Here we have both Owl and Kipp basically just beelining through Meridia as fast as they can, having very similar, nearly identical item sets, Owl not having high jump boots. But I would say that they'll both be killing Dragon and getting to Mother Brain before too long. Was this actually a required CWJ seed? I'm trying to think of what were the other ways that you could have gotten into Wrecked Ship.
So Gravity and Spring Ball are in the Wrecked Ship.
Yeah.
Where was Space Jump?
Space Jump was
Ridley.
That was behind Ridley. Speed Booster was also in the Wrecked Ship.
That was a stacked ship then.
Yeah, a total stacked ship. This might actually be a required CWJ seed.
Okay, so then the question.
This is so mean.
No, you can get Spring Ball before then. So the question is in logic. In logic, is bomb jumping to X-ray in logic?
It is if you have Varia, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so then this is not a required CWJ.
Yeah. At least I'm pretty sure that bomb jumping to X-ray is in logic with what's it called? The thing. Varia. Owl actually picks up the take here in the Precious Room. I guess probably just for the health refill. Didn't have the biggest health going into Dragon here. Although, with the full Microwave Beam, the Dragon fight is pretty safe.
Yeah, the Dragon fight is incredibly safe with Microwave Beam. We would say that the Dragon fight with the Microwave Beam, you just don't take any damage at all.
Yeah.
The biggest risk there is getting sniped by a turret at the beginning of the fight.
Yeah. Was that a spike suit out of Owl? That looked like a successful spike suit. Although I will admit I don't have the best eye.
No, we didn't see it entirely, but Owl sparked it somewhere else. So, wait, do you think that Owl got the spike suit and then wasted it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we didn't think the timing there's enough time for that. So
I know Owl will just like go for spike suits and randos just like because why not?
Link gets it. Link gets CWJ. GG Link.
And that is one more to the wrecked ship, getting all those delicious items in the stacked ship, and then.
So for anybody looking for help with CWJ, the pixel that you want to line up against the door is with the green of your visor directly against the gray of the door.
Yeah.
That is the right pixel.
Yeah, you want the visor to be as close to inside of the door without actually being inside of the door. And then for the wall jump, this is a trick that you taught us, which was if you're on console and you're thinking, did I do the wall jump too early or too late? You did it too early.
Yep.
Always.
On console and CRT, it's basically impossible to
Or yeah, on console CRT. Yes.
to accidentally do it too late.
Or OSSC. It could be on the OSSC. Or that other thing by Retro RGB that came out.
How good is that other thing?
It's like quite good. From what I've heard.
Is it extra? How big of a difference is there between that and OSSC?
It's not as high quality, and it's mostly that you don't have nearly as many settings as you do on the OSSC. But like the latency is just as good, and
the latency is identical.
I think it's identical or near identical.
Near identical is a fancy way of saying not identical.
I don't know exactly, and I'm not going to say with confidence that it's the same. The main drawback of it that makes it only $50 instead of $200 is that it only works on Nintendo consoles. Like it's console specific, basically. So like if you get the Nintendo console one, you can only use it on the SNES and N64, and I guess maybe the NES as well. That would make sense. But like you couldn't use it on like a Genesis, whereas the OSSC it'll just take RGB or component. This is like total nerd capture talk, by the way. Sometimes I forget.
It's not nerd capture talk at all. Everybody in the SM community has spent a long time thinking about console and CRT versus OSSC.
No, not the retro tank. It's like a new thing that came out recently, and I can't remember what it's called. It's called like the Rad 2X. That's what it's called. It got announced really recently, and it's basically just a cable that plugs one end goes into your SNES, and the other end is an HDMI that just goes into an HDMI TV. And it is as low latency as a CRT with like 3 asterisks on the end, which I could go into but won't unless people really want to know.
Elf makes it through. Elf is gonna get power bombs. Hopefully.
There's still like one more place where you could die.
Not die. Elf could fall down the wrong side of the hole.
That is true. Okay, it looks
Elf
like
knows this.
Careful. Yeah.
Elf knows this. Elf is good.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is so hype for Elf.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Oh no! Okay, so Elf could X-ray climb from here. Elf could totally X-ray climb from here.
Elf could, in theory, X-ray climb from here. Yes.
It would be miserable, but Elf could do it.
Elf just resets that. Meanwhile, Kipp finishes a very nice baby skip and is on their way to Mother Brain, while Owl is entering Turian. Link appears to be doing a spring ball jump to get to the wreck ship energy tank.
This looks really interesting. The bomb jump is what we're used to seeing people do. Wait, did Link not get speed booster? We thought speed booster was.
Speed booster's at wreck ship energy tank.
Okay, we see.
But I think you actually got the bomb jump there, which is quite hard. Very tricky timing. Especially
when you only have power bombs.
And also, I will mention in the SRL chat, Azure has in fact finished first with an official SRL race time of 52:14. Azure not on the restream, but there are lots of people playing in this race that are not necessarily being shown right now. It looks like there's 8 entrants, maybe 7. I'm bad at counting. It looks like Kipp is pretty close behind here.
Yeah, it looks like there's 7 entrants. Azure has finished first with 52:14, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good time for the seed.
At this point,
was pretty incredible.
And at this point, we just get to watch Owl and Kipp wreck the end of the seed.
Yep. While Link and Elf keep going, trucking along.
Yeah, we're incredibly impressed by Elf's resilience and just continuing to go.
Yeah, I absolutely would have forfeited this position. If I wasn't being restreamed, I would have forfeited.
And Elf, because Elf did get help, Elf has stayed forfeited in the SRL channel, which is really awesome to see too.
Yeah. But even afterwards, like they're still like, you know what, I'm gonna keep going. You know, there's still more to be done. 64-bit Link does look like they're going to be clearing out the top of Wreck's ship and being rewarded with their gravity suit as well. So as of yet, no one has skipped top of Wreck's ship.
Yeah, that is actually a really, really long way from Major.
Yeah.
So Link hasn't skipped it because Link doesn't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, like, yeah, when I running Chozo seeds, mentally I'm thinking, like, unless I really have to, I'm probably skipping top of Wreck ship. Because it's a lot of time. Although in this case, it is probably one of the most important items to find in a randomizer.
And Kipp's the only one with Kipp's favorite item so far.
Yeah. That is true. I do believe it's Cross's favorite item as well, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
And one of Punk's 3 favorite items.
My favorite item, of course, is the spring ball for being the best item. And also, spring ball is spelled with a W. You can't change my mind. Elf has lots of health here, finishing out of Gauntlet.
Yeah, Alpha's going with a slow but very practical strategy here.
Yeah.
Which we absolutely love seeing from runners. We absolutely love watching people make very practical decisions to get past obstacles.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, like, speedrunning, it's not just about, like, oh, what's the absolute fastest you could do this? Especially in race settings, it's what's the most consistent way that you could do this? Like, can you do it consistently? And so it's always really good to see that. I think Elf is still on the... Yeah, they're still on the correct side. Okay. And Elf gets their power bombs.
Elf gets their power bombs.
GG.
Let's go. And Link getting his gravity.
Yeah, the scene was definitely quite trolly. If I were playing this, I would have some choice words for whoever rolled the seed. Although it was Tracy, and Tracy is really nice, so...
And looks like Elf is either just heading to save, or Elf is gonna head towards the wreck ship next.
Yeah, and Kipp does done in second place with an official SRL race time of 57 minutes and 6 seconds. GG to Kipp.
GG, Kipp.
See if he's interested in doing an interview. Owl just about to finish up with Mother Brain Phase 3 as well.
So it looks like Asder did go wreck ship first, which is...
That's...
We wonder if that's something that they would do in a race setting, or whether they were just messing around here.
Yeah, that is an interesting question.
Because Punk was very insistent that you never go, in standard major minor, you never go up the red tower.
Well, this is one of those things where, like, something could be statistically or mathematically the better play, but that doesn't mean it's 100% of the time going to be better.
No, but it's always important to know what the statistically better play is against an evenly matched opponent.
That is very true.
And that's important to know, not only so you can make the right decisions against an opponent who's equal in skill or worse than you, but also important so you can make the mathematically bad decision against an opponent who's better than you.
Yes. Yep. Anytime I'm facing somebody that I know is much better than me, just like bet on Varia check tool every time. Because, you know, you would expect the better player to probably not do that.
It sounds like we have Kipp.
And hello, Kipp. How are you?
Hey y'all, what's up?
Not much. How'd you feel about the seed? What'd you think?
That was pretty good. That was a fun one. I need to apologize. I had to do the same thing earlier today. I had a late night last night with I was playing a gig with my band. I know my voice sounds really bad right now, so I'm really sorry. But yeah, it was a fun one. That's the fastest I've ever completed a Chozo run. And I felt pretty good. I got to show off the high jump bootless lava dive and the low percent ice worst room in the game. So anytime I get to do those two things in a randomizer, I'm
that was beautiful.
Thank you. So yeah, I feel good. This is a pretty cool randomizer. I like it.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about those power bombs?
You mean like getting the first pack?
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I don't remember where I got my first pack. Where was it?
Speed booster.
Yeah, Speed Booster Hallway.
Oh, yeah. I would have preferred to have had one sooner, and I probably would have tried to go to Wreck Ship, because since I do a lot of new route and low percent ice, like, when I get bombs like that, I'm pretty comfortable with that to get over moat. But, it didn't work out that way, and I didn't want to go up there without power bombs, so it just kind of was what it was. I imagine that I guess I guess what I'm most interested to see when I watch this back is like, how did Asher finish so far ahead of me? Because
Asher went to the wreck ship first.
okay,
Yep.
interesting. He went up there without power bombs?
No,
So-
but the power bombs were at the back half of Gauntlet.
Yeah, there's Gauntlet Escape power bombs, and then there was the second
Okay.
pack by the Edakun E-Tank, where that normally is.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, because otherwise I was like, when I didn't really think about that. When I saw that my first pack of power bombs, and I figured most people would be in regular Norfair, and then that we didn't have high jump boots, I was like, Yahtzee, because I was ready to do the high jump bootless lava dive, but then I guess it turns out that it didn't work that way.
So
Yeah.
we have to say, with that means that you, Owl, and Aster all wanted to go to the wreck ship first. Which,
Yeah, Owl also went
which-
Wreck Ship first.
which really surprises us because there's only 3 items in the wreck ship, and one of
Yeah.
them is terribly inaccessible. So, why?
Yeah. Well, basically, if you think about, like, I guess the way I would look at it would be, okay, well, I'll preface by saying that I'm not the greatest randomizer player, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But in this particular format, I feel like you're like more incentivized to check the major locations, because there's a higher percentage chance that you're going to get something that's going to drastically change and increase your speed and the way you run the game. So to me, having 3 that are guaranteed to probably be something good, because by the time you even make it to Red Tower, you've probably knocked out like a third of the E-tanks, reserve tanks, missiles, supers, power bomb, or whatever that they could be. And then on top of that, I just like to have all that prepared and have that part over with, if possible. Now, sometime though I want to go down. It just depends. I mean, like, it depends on what items I get early. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of going wreck ship first and getting those items, because most of the time you're probably not going to skip them anyway.
That makes sense.
Although I would personally say that I think skipping the chozo ball behind gravity suit, I think that's a play that I would not be surprised to see people do, because it requires clearing out attic and a bunch of stuff up there for only 1 item. And like, I know Azra's already a big fan of skipping top of wrecked ship even in major or minor. So I'm just kind of I'm interested to see if that becomes like a strategy that people start to employ, is skipping that item.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends. I mean, people will probably notice this. Like, since I don't do a lot of randomizers or whatever, like, honestly, until this league started, I hadn't really done any with any consistency in like almost a year and a half. My general strategy is basically like, well, I've got experience in all the speedrunning categories, so I'm just gonna play like really conservative and get like everything. And then if somebody makes plays and skips stuffs and beats me, then great. But otherwise, I just kind of rely on, my the slow and steady kind of using all the strats that I have accumulated over the years in all the different categories.
That's a great way to
Playing
approach them. Play for fun, and if you win, you win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
I don't make too many cosmic brain plays, mainly because every time I do, it never works. But yeah, listen, I appreciate Ploff and Freya. I appreciate y'all doing the commentary and taking your time to do this, and I'm looking forward to watching it back and just kind of seeing how different people approached it, because I feel like there's a lot to learn with these things. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop out of here so some other people can be interviewed and whatnot. And thanks, chat, everybody, and I'll see everybody next mission.
Yeah, thank you for racing.
Thank you, Kipp.
Yeah, no problem. See you later.
And for the record, we asked Owl, and Owl politely declined to interview, only saying that, and I quote, oh god, where was it? Wreck Ship first was my main play. So there you go. Yeah, three of the top 3 players all playing for Wreck Ship first. Not entirely surprising given how stacked Wreck Ship was in this seed. And
So-
also, Unfortunately, I would like to mention 64-bit Link has also now officially forfeited from the race.
Yep. So, and with Owl not, I guess we can ask Link if Link wants to interview, and then after that we'll probably be off. As much as we would love to follow Elf for the next couple hours while Elf finishes the seed,
Yeah,
which is super impressive.
I think Speed Gaming may have a schedule to keep, and yeah, it is really impressive.
After this commentary is done, we will definitely be opening up Elf's stream and following it.
Yeah,
on our own.
Definitely give all the runners a follow. Please tell me Bang R works. America. All right, follow all the runners. We have some really great runners here, and some really resilient runners as well. Like I'm really impressed with how all of these players did. So definitely follow all of the runners. Great stuff to watch. Great Super Metroid things. Follow the Speed Gaming channels. There's a bajillion of them now. There's also the official Super Metroid Randomizer League channel, where you can see more Rando League matches with the official Rando League. This is just an open race that we do on weekends. And here we do have 64-bit Link in the Discord with us. How are you doing, man?
All right. Wish I could have managed to finish out that seed, but I kept forgetting to save anywhere. So once that gravity jump went wrong, and I died because I wasn't really thinking about the Namahe flames when I was trying to do the crystal flash. So
we saw that. That was a tragic death.
Yeah.
And completely reasonable to forfeit out. This was a really nasty seed. A lot of really mean stuff being required, like long hell runs. CWJ not required, but the other ways into the wreck ship would not be easy. Would require like spring ball jumping and stuff like that, and all sorts of mean stuff that ended up happening in this seed. So totally reasonable.
Yeah, it just felt like early on, like I made the play to Alpha Power Bombs and then forgot that going up to Alpha Power Bombs meant the only way to get out was to go all the way back around.
Yep. Yeah, like not fighting power bombs for a really long time there was quite rough. Yeah.
Yeah, because I also like decided against going like all the way through Gauntlet just because like once I found just supers there and I was at like less than half health with like one E-tank and a reserve, I was like, I'm not gonna bother trying to do the rest of this. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna find power bombs like somewhere else fairly easy, and
sure.
Not that far. I think the first like intended power bombs were the ones at grapple, and then I found the ones at speed first, or the ones at the speed missile location first.
Yeah. So that was Kipp's first powerbomb pack as well, and then second powerbombs in double chamber, and there was a powerbomb pack in the back of Gauntlet. So I think of the racers restreamed, only Owl. Owl and Elf ended up getting the powerbomb pack at the back of Gauntlet. Elf with a little bit of help. So yeah, definitely mean on like having to hunt for ammo in that seed and all of that.
Yeah, and also I just like got terrible RNG from like all of the waivers in Bubble Mountain when I was trying to get my health back up to be able to get up to the speed bugs.
Oh sure, yeah. I know I've on many occasions like underestimated how difficult it is to get up to the speed bugs there. So I'm like, it's like one room. How hard could it be? And then I'll lose like 80 health trying to get past the enemies that dropped out from the ceiling and all of that.
Yeah, not having high jump makes it significantly harder.
Yeah.
And I never found high jump anywhere.
High jump was like at X-ray visor.
See, that's the thing. Like, if I was like thinking about checking X-ray, but the problem was like both times I forgot, like both up and down. Like I got there and realized I don't have a save here, so that's a check that when you're just doing it with bombs can go very wrong, and it can go very wrong in a way that's really hard to recover.
Yeah, and I know Kipp is the only player thus far that's gotten high jump boots, and he did it after killing Ridley, getting space jump, and then checking X-ray before going into Meridia. Or I think checking X-ray on his way up to wreck ship because he did KRPD.
Yeah, so he did a high jumpless lava dive.
Yeah, he did a high jumpless lava dive as well as the low percent ice strat for getting through worst room in the game. Really, really difficult stuff and very impressive to watch.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I was gonna do was probably just, if I had managed to get that gravity jump successfully, I guess I was like just jumping barely too early on it like the last couple times. But anyway, I was just gonna like either IBJ or do a spring ball jump to get up worst room in the game, because like otherwise, like I had enough of a beam combo. I had more supers than I would ever need.
Yeah.
It was just really unfortunate that I couldn't get past that gravity jump.
Yeah, the IBG I think is the sort of logically intended way to be getting through worst room, but yeah, it's a long IBJ. And I personally try to avoid it at all costs because I hate infinite bomb jumps and I'm no good at it. So yeah.
So unfortunately, while this is going on, Elf has reset too early after taking the ship save, and is
Yeah.
back before getting power bombs. So I think that this is the end of this, unfortunately.
Yeah. This was still a really interesting seed, a very mean seed, but that makes it interesting to watch. Some nice Schadenfreude. This was a really fun race, if you ask me. It was really fun to commentate. Thanks to everybody who helped put it on. Make sure you follow all the runners, but I think this is going to be a see you next mission.
Yep. Thank you to all the runners. Thank you to all the organizers. Thank you to everybody from Speed Gaming, the restreamer, and just everybody who puts work into this. And yeah, we will see you all next mission.